my credentials are now being questioned as to whether or not I did the right thing. And the worst thing, and most of us came up in the same era, if my mother had to come to school, I got my butt whooped. I mean, if they told me that my mom was anywhere near school, you know, I knew what was going on. You know, in front of the teacher. You know, she would do it right there in front of the teacher.
That's right.
And do class.
That's right.
But now, y'all, here's the system. They can't touch it. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. They are told, in the fact, you know, everybody's been concerned about the teachers not stopping fights. Well, they have been told that teachers have been trained not in martial law. They have not been trained in self-defense. That's not why they went to school. So what they have been told by their superiors is if there is a fight, don't break it up. Stay out of the way. Because if you put your hands on the kid, here's what's going to happen. That kid's going to retaliate. And now I'm fighting with this kid, and it's going to look like the teacher jumped on the kid. So where's my defense mechanism? All I was trying to do was separate both of them from fighting. How does that line us up, y'all? We have a problem. We have a problem, and it starts in the church. And my problem is this. If all we're going to do is sit and have Bible study and have men talk, if that's all we're going to do, then we miss what God intended for us to do. I believe in the Jesus principle. Watch me do with me, now I can release you to do. We need to be in the schools. We need to be in the communities. We need to be talking to young brothers. We need to see, here's the thing that I understand. Dogs like raw meat. When I see our sisters, when I see our young girls walking around with their bodies exposed, when I see a boy with his pants down to his butt, to me that's a problem. That's a problem because we were not raised like that. So when we're looking at them, they don't, because they have not had a man and they have not had the training, then what they do is our young men start to act like savages. So we attack. So as opposed to me looking at him and being able to work with him, I value him as a threat. Now I'm attacking him and taking what he has. So when I take your daughters out, you got to understand the mindset. I've never been trained, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do with your daughter. So the first time she does not do what I think I'm supposed to do, then I start beating her. And I know I got a daughter. Y'all got daughters. The first dude put his hands on my daughter. You can have my badge, my and everything. It's gonna be war all together. You see what I'm saying? But listen to what I'm saying though. Whose responsibility is it to train our kids? Is it the church's responsibility or is it the parents' responsibility? Everything starts at home. We have to teach our young men how to address young women. They're looking at us, even in the church. The majority of the people who are in operation are female. Look at communion. You've been there on Communion Sunday. The majority of the people just recently with the deacons that you see that there are more male figures in the church. But when I talk to the young sisters, here's what they're saying to me. We don't see any role models. We don't see any leaders. And what we have done as a people is we have allowed NBC, CBS, ABC to define who our black leaders are. And every man that's standing here today is a leader. Is a leader with responsibility. It's not just my son that I'm concerned about, but I'm concerned about the son, somebody else's son here. Because see, here's the thing about it. If we can take and begin to train young men, train them how to respect young women. The one thing that I do understand, and I took some time to study the methodology of the Muslims and how they are disciplined and how they back up and how they train their young men. They start them at a very early age, showing them what their responsibility is. Two things that they are to do. They are to be the provider and they are to be the protector. Are you listening to me? They are to be the provider and they are to be the protector. They teach them the responsibility that they have for providing. We have men now that are not willing to protect, nor are they willing to provide for their own families. We have a serious problem. And if the church, if all the church is going to do is sing songs, y'all, I'm missing something. Somebody messed me up there. Somebody messed me up because I was told and I was taught that the church was a place of action and that we should be bleeding into the community. I asked the elders in the church this question. If we were to be removed from this community, would anybody miss us? And they said no. I said, why? They said, because we don't do anything in the community. That's why I won't change the motto. We're changing the community one family at a time. Every year somebody says, you need to change that. I'm not changing it until we do something positive for the community. There's an apartment complex that's across the street. There are over 300 kids that are over there. And there's a sign on our church that says, do not enter. Children of this complex do not enter. And what I'm saying by that, if we make no effort to go out after them, they won't come. Now, the only thing that separates us from them is the expressway, or 124. If the church is only going to be a place, now, please hear me, brother. I am not talking against anything that we have been taught. But what I am saying is this. We have a great commission. He says, go ye therefore and teach. Here's the thing. Teach all nations. A young man has to be taught how to be a man. I didn't come here knowing how to be a man. It took all of my life for me to realize what a man was supposed to do. And I didn't learn that until some old men got together and pulled me to the side and said, boy, that thing that you wearing right there, it ain't for that. There's some responsibility that goes along. If you stick it, you got to know what to do with it. Are you man enough to take care of it? Y'all with me?
Yeah.
And so I'm at this point right now where I'm fed up, y'all. I can't take no more. I can't take no more. When I look at 67% of the students that graduated on time, only 67% of the people in Georgia graduated on time. 80% of them graduated after their time. Kids are going through school, and here's what they're doing. The greatest thing that they're looking at is the athletic portion of school. And that life is a short life, because you know that if you make it to the pros, I tell my son the same thing. If you make it, your lifespan may be 5 to 7 years at the max. And that's a dog-eat world. It's no longer games anymore, it's work. And so here's my heart right now. If we don't turn them around, when you talk to kids, you ask them the question, what do you want to be? I want to be a ball player. I want to be this. Well, wait a minute. What we've been taught and what other races are saying about us, there are 3 things that you can look for in a black man. And they gave them to me. I asked them and they gave them to me. They said, number 1, a hustler. Number 2, a ball player. And number 3, selling drugs. And I said to them, so you telling me, what you're telling me is that I'm not intelligent enough to live in a society and to cope with what's going on. So therefore, I've got to take the easy way out. Look, I grew up in the hood, and some of you did too. And so we all know hood life. If you didn't grow, you've been indoctrinated in Hood 101. But we all have been in some place